do we want? Climate justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Climate justice. When do we want it? Now. I say,
on September 20th, students and activists from around the state of Indiana joined local marches calling for lawmakers to act immediately to end climate change. The protests were part of a global movement led by 16-year-old Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg. Students went on strike from school for the day and attended protests in more than 1,000 locations around the U.S., including 13 sites here in Indiana.
This is a survival issue. I grew up knowing that my future is limited, that I potentially won't see past 40. I'm experiencing my midlife right now and I'm 20 because of the coming climate catastrophe.
Connie Thompson and other student protesters in downtown Indianapolis said they hope to bring about climate change awareness and demand government action locally and at this week's UN Climate Action Summit in New York City. The United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change released a report in August that found that stopping catastrophic global warming would require all sectors of the economy to drastically cut greenhouse gas emissions. The world's reliance on fossil fuels, a main source of greenhouse gas emissions, has made that reduction unlikely unless nations, including the U.S., adopt major shifts in policy. Climate change is affecting separate parts of the world differently, but researchers say it's already having an effect on the state of Indiana. The average temperature in the state has risen by 1.2 degrees Fahrenheit since 1895. Temperatures are projected to rise by about 5 degrees by mid-century. Extreme heat increases the likelihood of heat-related illnesses to vulnerable parts of the population like children and the elderly. Climate change is also reducing the number of extremely cold days during winter, but the extremely cold days keep down the populations of disease-carrying insects like mosquitoes and ticks. Less extreme cold days could mean more pests and disease.
We're tired of the empty promises, and we're hoping that with this wave of people power, our politicians will listen to what is the right thing, which is fighting climate change and becoming more resilient to it.
Students were joined by supporters from different generations. Michael Bean, a Sierra Club Hoosier chapter member, said he decided to join the climate strike after a conversation with a high school student.
I had a very interesting conversation recently with a high schooler, and she blamed my generation for leaving them a mess that they will have to deal with in the next 20 years because we have known for 30 years that the climate was changing and action needed to be taken, and we have done nothing. And it was an engaging conversation with the young people that they feel like that we've dropped the ball, that we have not done enough and left them a mess to clean up, so I'm here to support them.
Some supporters said current federal environment and energy policies more than justify the fervor possessed by the striking students.
With the Trump administration, we're going backwards, and it's hard to miss that. That's very apparent. The weather patterns have changed dramatically. Here we are standing out here at the end of September, and it's like 90 degrees, so that's, very different than the past. I think when it's enough is enough, people stand up, no matter how old they are, and ask for change.
The IPCC will release a new report on the effects of climate change on the ocean and the cryosphere September 25th. A second worldwide strike is planned for September 27th. Enrique Sainz, Indiana environmental reporter.